Hey, YouTube crowd. Welcome to the beating heart of space weather or something. Just doing a little live stream here. And thanks to everybody who saw the last one. That was definitely a record breaker. I mean, to say the least, a massive, massive record breaker. So, yeah, just making some breakfast here. And, what's on your breakfast menu? We're always interested. Viewers. So let us know in the comments. And if you're mad about space weather, all I can say is universum liberate. Yes, universum liberate, which means free everybody. Maybe that's a little too reckless for you here on YouTube. So we got some space weather going on, a little geomagnetic storm happening as I make breakfast. We're located in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. It's unlikely that we'll be seeing aurora here, so I didn't even go out and look. How lazy is that? I guess it's pretty lazy. So yeah, just making some breakfast potatoes here and some scrambled eggs. It's gonna be a lovely Saturday. It's the whole weekend. It's gonna be splentacularly gorgeous here in the Lehigh Valley. So if you're looking to do a bike riding stay and ride, this is the spot. I mean, it's so good. An hour from both Philly and New York. What more could you want? I mean, you could want some space weather. That's a thing. And you've got some space weather, so that's a thing too. Cheers. Yeah. So, what have you YouTube types been up to? I've been absent for a day, at least for making long form videos. And so I figured I would jump on and have a little chat with y'all. And thanks for tuning in, everybody who has. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. We are excited to have you. So yeah, it's a little bit of space weather, and what we've got now is a coronal hole high-speed stream. So, you know, we had a CME impact. That's a coronal mass ejection, which is when the sun blasts material out of its stellar atmosphere, known as the solar corona. And then now we have a high-speed wind from a coronal hole. So coronal holes are where there is a hole in the sun's atmosphere, and certain molecular species, certain atomic species, don't really like to be there. So you see a lot less certain iron ions and things when you see coronal holes. And most importantly, you see the sun's magnetic field projecting out into the solar system. So, of course, we didn't know about coronal holes until the 1970s. And that really taught us something about the sunspot cycles because, well, we didn't know about the solar polar field reversals until we knew about coronal holes, because that's how we watch the solar polar field reversals. So I'm sure people were a little freaked out when they saw that. They're like, what's going on? Is it doomsday? And of course, a lot of people are saying, what's going on? Is it doomsday right now in 2025? I can certainly answer that question for you. Is it doomsday? Well, certainly not. Certainly not. I could say quite definitely not. I mean, don't fall for that grift. That's the oldest grift of all time. The end is near, folks. The end is near. Do as I say. Move to our cult compound now. Otherwise, you're going to die. You're going to die and go to hell. So make sure you move to our cult compound. It's very important. Yeah, eggs and potatoes. The potatoes are going to have garlic and onion involved. I mean, I think that's pretty sweet. What do you say? Let us know in the comments what your favorite breakfast is. I'm a hardcore potato fan. So potatoes. Potatoes, and I'm going to make scrambled eggs for once instead of fried eggs. I'm always making fried eggs when I do these streams, but today, scrambled eggs. All right. The onions are prepped. The garlic is prepped. The olive oil is already in the pan. I know, you're going to be mad that I didn't use butter, right? I know how you YouTube types operate. You're going to say, you should be using butter instead of olive oil. And look, I understand the reasoning. I know you want my carcinogen content to be lower, but it's okay. I was too lazy to get out the butter, so I just poured olive oil instead. There is plenty of it in there. I mean, I guess I probably should have used butter. Maybe I'll use that. No, I don't need it for the eggs either. Because I use non-stick cookware, another controversial thing. Oh no, non-stick cookware. Non-stick cookware is going to cause the end of days. The apocalypse is coming because your pan is coated. So, anyway, what's in your doomsday fantasy? So, does anybody know what's going on with the sunspot number? Anybody? Anybody? 'Cause it's going to take me a bit to get on the computer today, that's for sure. Because I'm cooking hardcore. Look at all those onions. Oh, yes. We're going to have almost as much onion as we're going to have potato in these. I'll take it. It's going to be freaking splentacular. And I'm super excited. We're going on a road trip today, folks. So we'll definitely make some kind of a video about that. We'll make a video about our road trip. It's not a very long road trip, but it's going to be a very cool road trip because of where it goes. All right, I got to turn the camera here. There we are. Get them potatoes started here as I get warmed up for talking about things like Earth weather and space weather and who knows what else. Oh yes. Very nice, very nice. So yeah, I mean, high-speed coronal wind stream, that is what I believe is currently causing the little minor geomagnetic storm that we have. And, oh, thanks for leaving comments, those who have. I didn't see those yet. Let me get to those comments, folks. I always get the comments. We read every comment on the channel. So if you've got something to say, read one. Maybe we'll even give you a voice. We certainly won't mute you. So, I know there are some YouTube channels out there that mute their own viewers. People get mad about this. And I don't blame them, because it's pretty pathetic. I mean, why would you mute your own viewer? It's pretty, seems pretty nonsensical to me. What do you say? All right, so our comments here. What do we got? Oh, hey, all of a sudden. Thanks for joining the live stream. Brandon says, I freaking hate you, bro, because you know how to cook and I don't. It's so easy, man. Just start with one thing. Just learn one thing, right? I mean, I remember how I started cooking. I remember it. My cycling mentor was actually also my cooking mentor. So I met him via his cooking because he was a cook at the restaurant at which I worked at the time, and so he was. I mean, ultimately, my grandmother was my real cooking mentor, but my cycling mentor, Ron Wexler, he was also instrumental. He made me into a clothing snob, too. And a laundry snob. Yeah, cyclists, we're all clothing and laundry snobs. Because the clothing has to perform at a high level, or we can't perform at a high level. So, there's that. Fun fact, folks, when you make scrambled eggs, add a little milk, just a splash of milk. And it'll make your eggs really fluffy. Because as they harden, the milk will be in there. It'll make like an emulsification, and you'll have really fluffy, light scrambled eggs. Yeah, just add a little milk. So Brandon, here we are. We're gonna teach you how to cook here, I guess. So yeah, first of all, I've got a gas stove. I've got the potatoes and the onions and the garlic in there. They're on a fairly low setting because I don't want to work too hard here first thing in the morning while I'm talking to you people. So I just poured some milk in the pan, and now I'm going to put 5 eggs in there because Smash Staff wants 2 and I want 3, so it's a 5 scrambled eggs sort of day. But yeah, man, cooking's not that hard. You can do it. Learn how to make one thing well, and then expand your horizons. It's not so hard. Scrambled eggs are actually easier to make than fried eggs because you're not worried about breaking the yolks, right? I'm worried about messing up the stove and getting shells in there, but I don't care about breaking the yolks. So, and don't forget to cook your egg whites, right? A lot of people eat raw eggs. Well, cooked egg whites are better for you than raw eggs because there's, I think it's an enzyme that blocks the absorption of biotin or something like that. So, cook your egg whites. If you want liquid yolks, go for it. They might be a little easier to digest, but hey, eggs are easy to digest in the first place. That's one of the reasons that makes them such a superfood. Now, if you want to go really serious with your breakfast, all right, smoked salmon. That's the way to do it. Like, if you're really hardcore about breakfast foods, you want some protein that's even a little bit better than eggs. Well, try out the smoked salmon. It is. I remember back in 2010, that was when the Olympics were in Salt Lake City, and the Olympic Village for the alpine skiing was very interesting because in Salt Lake City, the Olympic Village for alpine skiing is very desolate. Okay, so they had to snowmobile in supplies, and the one snowmobile was just completely smoked salmon, like the entire trailer that it pulled. In fact, I think they might have even had 2 trailers totally full of smoked salmon. So, just to give you an idea of what Olympians consume for breakfast. Smoked salmon is definitely way up there, right? Because those of you who are not aware of this, salmon is an oily fish, and oily fish have more omega-3 in them. So, I mean, whitefish are lighter and more mild, and they're a little bit more bland, actually. Like, if you don't like fish that much, you can still consume whitefish, and there's really not much to it, right? So, whitefish will have very little fishy smell, fishy taste, but still pretty good for you. Not as good as the oily fish, but not a big deal. And okay, hey, let's share what I like to do for the breakfast chug. How about that? I'll share some stuff with you here, folks. So, one of the things that I do every morning is I like to chug water, right? So, a lot of people do that, but mine might be a little bit different. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you which vitamins I'm taking today, because I'm going to take some supplements. And so, here's my supplements for today. We're taking B complex. Don't have a vitamin B deficiency. That's suboptimal. I'm taking some Bausch & Lomb A-Reds 2. That's for eye health. I'm going to take some additional fish oil here. Well, because I didn't consume any fish today, so fish oil. I'm going to take some, not that, some choline and inositol. If you don't know what it does, look it up. You probably have access to the internet. I suspect you have access to the internet since you're watching this video. And yeah, that's all I'm taking today. Just those 4 things. A-Reds, B complex. Don't have a vitamin B deficiency. It can give you bad breath. Fish oil and choline and inositol. That's all I'm taking today. Although I am adding MSM powder, methyl sulfonylmethane, to the morning chug. So yeah, I'm not going to take those yet because I got to put together my morning chug first. So I like to take this 32-ounce mug, and first I add cayenne pepper. Then I add turmeric, and we buy this in we buy the cayenne in 5-pound bulk, and we buy the turmeric in 2.2-pound bulk. And then we're going to add some iodized salt. And then I'm going to add some MSM powder. 2 tiny little, just a pinch size scoops. I don't know how much that amounts to, but it's a little tiny. Don't consume too much MSM, it'll give you gas. And of course it could upset your stomach. So there's that. Yeah, and so that's what I'm going to add to the morning chug today, as I get the scrambled eggs going, and they're looking pretty sweet. So stoked about that. As I woke up feeling refreshed. Feeling refreshed and delighted about the Saturday to come. Should be very interesting. And again, we're not going to tell you where we're going, but we're going somewhere, and we're going to release a video about it. Maybe 2 videos. Maybe a dozen videos. I don't know. It's possible. There will be some nature exploration happening. And that's all the hints that I'm giving you, folks. Look at that. Oh my God. It is good times. Gonna turn those down, as those are probably just about done. Oh man. That is a champion's breakfast right there, folks. Look at that. The scrambled eggs. The breakfast potatoes and garlic. Oh, dude. So good. And it's almost coffee time, but first, the morning chug. So yeah, join me for the morning chug, folks. Have you chugged your morning water yet? Are you one of those people that does the morning water chug? Well, I certainly am. So, oh, and I forgot I forgot something kind of important. One of the most important ingredients in my morning chug. Beetroot powder. I'm not going to tell you what it does. I'm not going to make any ridiculous claims, but I put 2 teaspoons in my morning water chug. So yeah, that's the other thing. Cayenne pepper, beetroot, turmeric, iodized salt, and we're going to put a little lemon juice in there as well. So, almost forgot about the beetroot. I knew something didn't look right. It was the wrong color. So it's gonna be pretty heavily fortified with that much stuff in it. And let us know what's in your morning chug in the comments. All right, Brandon. Maybe I've helped you out a little bit. I don't know. You hate me less now? I love that comment. I friggin' hate you, bro, because you know how to cook and I don't. That's great. The comments on YouTube are always a delight. So thanks to everybody who leaves them. Yeah, and then stir it up. Stir it up. You can put a lot of, if you put a lot of beetroot in there, then you get like a blood red looking beverage. Pretty cool, I guess. If you're one of the cast members for Twilight. Cheers. Put the lid back on. Give the eggs a little more perturbation here as they're almost done. Oh, and look at how fluffy they are, folks. Look at how fluffy those eggs are. That's because of the milk, baby. Emulsification due to milk. Hey, Smash staff, you mind if your scrambled eggs are medium rare? We're making them medium rare, folks. Which means these eggs are darn close to being done. Dag. That is going to be bonkers. So yeah, let us know what's in your morning chug. And bottoms up. For any cyclists out there who know me, that's part of what makes me so fast. If you've ever seen me go uphill, you probably didn't see me for very long, because if you were on the bike, you probably saw me slowly disappearing on the road. There's a reason for that. It's not rocket science. It's a hell of a lot more complex than rocket science. Rocket science is pretty simple. It's like parabola, fuel. There's not that many variables. With bike riding, there are like a billion variables. Like a billion. All right. Well, it's time to test things out. Got to see if the potatoes are done. So I'm going to pick a thick one, let it cool down a little bit, and then have a test. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Dear God. So what's going on with Earth weather and space weather? Everything is looking lovely here for the Lehigh Valley this weekend. Great weather here. I briefly looked at nullschool.net this morning. And you know what? I said, hey, congratulations. The end is far. The end is far, folks. Our finest days lie ahead. So I've been doing some safe-mongering. Yeah, safe-mongering. It's the opposite of fear-mongering. Safe-mongering is laughing at fear-mongers and saying, you're idiots. Yeah, the end is not near. Our finest days lie ahead. And the grifters who are telling you the end is near, they just lie. Our finest days lie ahead, and doomsday prophets just lie. For personal gain. And for fame. And other stupid, idiotic reasons that mislead their viewers. You know, I still like fried eggs the best. You know why? Because fried eggs are more efficient than scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs, some of them always end up stuck to the pan and stuff like that, and I don't like that. I don't like my eggs stuck to the pan. All right. So let me get to some more comments here. I see there are some more, and thanks to everybody who has taken the time to leave a comment. A reminder to anybody who's tuned in more recently than our most recent comment analysis, we read all of our comments, and we're unable to respond to every single comment, but every comment is read. Now, I like to use kosher salt as my seasoning on top of things, and I like to use iodized salt for other seasoning, like for the bottom of things, or to just raise the salinity of a thing generally. I'll use iodized salt. But as a topping, kosher salt is a little bit better because it's bigger grains, so it gives you a little bit more of a pop to the flavors that you want. And oh, that was so easy. Done cooking. Super excited. Man, oh man. That is how you start out a Saturday, with a spectacular breakfast. Potatoes and onions and garlic. Dude, this is gonna be Instagram worthy. I may have to take screenshots of this live stream to put on the Instagram feed. All right, yowzers. So yeah, tell us what you're having for breakfast, folks. We're always interested. Maybe I'll make it at another time. Maybe I'll make what you've made. So yeah, wow. That is restaurant quality if your restaurant charges like $50 a plate. Look at that. Dude, no screwing around. Yeah, so I'm going to go up on the computer here in a minute. But first, some breakfast. Hey, Smash staff, breakfast is served. I think you'll be okay with that. And of course, coffee. Yeah, organic coffee, by the way. And if you want to know what we're drinking, it's Amazon Organic Fair Trade or something. And it's a delight. It's splentacular. And why do we drink organic coffee? You might think that's a waste of money, right? Right? Well, it's definitely not a waste of money. Organic coffee is incredible. And why do we drink organic coffee? Well, let me tell you. Here's our anecdotal report on why we drink organic coffee. It's because it doesn't make us jittery. So think about the implications of that. Organic coffee doesn't make us jittery. Non-organic coffee does make us jittery. Links in the video, in the description to our Amazon shop. You can see some of our selections. Some of them may be out of stock, but it's no jitters. No jitters from the coffee. Like, could it be because herbicide, fungicide, and pesticide is what makes you jittery from your coffee, folks? So yeah, I don't drink any coffee except what I brew at home. Occasionally I'll stop at a coffee shop and get an espresso shot or two. But besides that, pretty much do not consume any coffee besides organic. So take that or leave it. I mean, maybe you think it's good advice, maybe you think it's bad advice. I don't know. And if you want to join the Galactic Federation Special Forces, then there are links in the video to our Redbubble shop as well. You'll find various things on there that you may find interesting. So please visit our links and make sure you follow us on the other socials, because otherwise you may not see much of the content. Like, not every post that we put up is exclusive, but some of the posts are. So we're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn for the most part, but also Twitter. We do have a TikTok, but we haven't been using it because it's just too much. And yeah, it looks like my breakfast is complete here except for coffee. Smash staff probably wants her coffee, so I'll hook her up first. Ladies first. Yeah, those chivalrous rules are still in place, folks. Ladies first. And age before beauty, right? If you're serving a table of people, right? The first person you serve, the first person you take the order from is the oldest lady at the table. So you take the orders from all the women first, then you take the order from the oldest man first, age before beauty, and ladies first. Those are the rules. It's very simple, very simple. And if you're walking down steps with a woman or down a really steep embankment, the man goes first. Because that way, if she falls down the steps, you might be able to break her fall or something, right? And when you're going up, the woman goes first for two reasons. If she falls, you'll break her fall perhaps. But for the second reason, she sets the pace going uphill because she's probably slower than you. So these are what we call common sense. I know that's a super uncommon thing. Common sense. Oh no, look out. Commonsensical ideas. It's misogyny, folks. The reason that men go up the stairs last is because misogyny. Pardon my biting sarcasm 24 hours a day. Oh man, that is epic. So yeah, what's going on in space weather? Just a coronal hole high-speed stream, and it's meh. All right, I'm sorry. We've got more comments here. Let's see. Cobalt says, "Yo, you didn't read mine. Take that as you will." Adrian Mercado says, "Hello. You're subbed. Hey, thanks for subscribing." By the way, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to press subscribe. And look at that. We have more likes than viewers. That's pretty good. Our last live stream did not get 7,900 likes, but it did get 7,900 views. Nav says, my cooking something. My man cooking something. Yeah, Nav, if you're still here, I do almost all of the cooking. We have an agreement. I do the cooking. Smash Staff washes the dishes. It's a pretty good setup. She can cook. I don't know if I can cook better. Maybe some things, I don't know. But it's a good agreement, right? Because then I'm free to use all of my artistic skills and just destroy the kitchen and create all kinds of dirty dishes for her. But if the food's good, it's completely worth it. And it's good. Real good. I mean, dude, look at that. That is bonkers right there. Look at those caramelized onions. Yowzers. Oh, man. So yeah, that's one to grow on. That's how to get your significant other to get involved, right? You get your significant other to do the dishes, then you'll have more freedom in your cooking, right? Don't make cooking decisions based on what dishes you're going to make dirty. Have those two things separate. That way you don't ruin the artistic integrity of your cooking. Continuing with the comments. Cornelius Zulius says, what's one thing you love to cook the most? Oh man, that is a tough one. I don't know. I mean, I make a lot of beef roasts. So that's definitely high on the list. In fact, we had one last night. It was what was it? A top round? I think it was a top round, or maybe a top shoulder. I don't know, but whatever it was pretty good. My favorite thing to cook. That's a tough one. Let me think here. The one thing to cook, the one thing I love to cook the most. Jeez, I'm not sure. Because you're talking about the cooking process here as opposed to my favorite end result. So, yeah, I mean, I think maybe nacho. No, the cooking process is pretty hard for nachos. And the next time we make nachos, we're gonna make homemade cheese sauce, by the way. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you get notifications when we go live and when we put up videos, because homemade cheese sauce is berserk. You ever made homemade cheese sauce? Oh my gosh. It is insane. And once you do it once, then you're no longer a homemade cheese sauce virgin, and it's so good. The one thing I love to cook the most, cheeseburgers. I'm a huge cheeseburger person. You know, when I was a kid, here's a little story. When I was a kid, I wanted cheeseburger and fries no matter what. That was it. That was my thing all the time, cheeseburger and fries. I still remember the first time I had KFC. I was like 4 or 5 years old. My mom's like, "We're getting Kentucky Fried Chicken." I'm like, "What? Do they have cheeseburger and fries?" And she's like, "They definitely don't have cheeseburgers and fries." And I'm like, "Can we go somewhere else? Can you stop at McDonald's to get me a cheeseburger and fries or something? Because that's my thing, cheeseburger and fries." She's like, "Nope, you've got to eat chicken." I'm like, "Really? What a buzzkill." But turns out KFC is delicious, so. Yep, I would order cheeseburger and fries everywhere. Fine restaurant, cheeseburger and fries. A diner, cheeseburger and fries. KFC, cheeseburger and fries. Taco Bell, cheeseburger and fries. You get the idea. So maybe that's my favorite. I don't know. You know, I kind of agree with Randy on Trailer Park Boys that cheeseburgers are the optimal food. So, yeah, the one thing I love to cook the most. Hey, what's the one thing I love to cook the most? Like, what do I actually like to cook? Maybe it's fried eggs. I mean, making fried eggs is pretty... I like to cook that a lot because it's so easy. You just crack them. You don't break the yolks. You put them in there. You set the gas burner on 2.8 actually. And there you go. They just, boom. When they're done, you just slide right out of the lovely nonstick pan right onto my plate. The lovely ceramic-coated nonstick pan. It's so good. Yes, morning protein from eggs indeed. Nav. More of lunch and supper guy due to work schedule. Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people that are doing just one meal a day, and I've done that. It works pretty good, depending on what your goals are. I mean, if you're going to go out and do a 62-mile ride to end poverty day with the Lehigh Valley Cycling Club or something like that, then you'd need something pretty substantial in the morning, obviously. And of course, a lot of people are out there not consuming any carbohydrate and things, and that's fine as long as you're not an athlete. If you're trying to get peak performance, especially as an endurance athlete, you got to have a bunch of sugar. As you're doing a 3-hour bike ride, you better have some sugar. But there's no danger to sugar when you burn it all, right? The issue is if you have excess sugar. So Chief says, I take that too. All right. Corrupt PX says, oil up. You mean like take some of this and rub it all over my entire body and then stream shirtless and show off my abs? I don't think that's going to happen. But I might go out I might lay out in the sun all oiled up. It could be a thing. Chief takes a multivitamin. Rocket _ Sideswiper 72 says, do you play CRK? Well, I'll answer that thusly. I don't know, because I have no idea what that is. But I'm interested. Fish oil. Hi, Rocket Sideswiper 72. Thanks for leaving comments. Deborah Ramon, you're 98. That's amazing. Congratulations. Congratulations on reaching 98. That's an accomplishment. You've exceeded anybody in my family. Our family record is 93 at the moment, set by my granddad back in 2022. So, Chief wants to know how many eggs we scrambled. We made 5 because Smash Staff wanted 2 and I wanted 3. So 5 scrambled eggs. Gorpjeep Wessel says, I got 2 big eggs that are bunkers. Sweet. What are they, like duck eggs, goose eggs, ostrich eggs, emu eggs? What do you got? The End says, are you sure? Yeah, pretty sure. And let me just explain why I keep saying the end is not near. Our finest days lie ahead. It's because most things are getting better steadily for hundreds of years for humans and, civilization itself, technology, people with access to plumbing and electricity, and people who are living on more than $5 a week or whatever, right? All of that stuff is diminishing. The deaths and other harm and things like that are constantly going down. Tsunamis are becoming less dangerous because of early warning and so on. So, yeah, I'm definitely sure that our finest days lie ahead. And if the end is near, maybe, but extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Have the latter, or I'm not going to believe the former. All right. Marcus Jones wants to know if I've got a ghost story. So the answer is no. And by the way, I don't believe in ghosts. Could there be entities around that maybe we can't see or something like that? Totally. There totally could be entities that we don't know about, we don't see, or, who knows? Maybe they exist only in a telepathic form. Who knows? I have a wraith story. I mean, a wraith. You know what a wraith is? It's like a black shadow. I have a wraith story, and it's on the channel. It's in the playlists. So check out our playlists. You might even find those in the description, but youtube.com/smashamash/playlists. There actually is a ghost story in there. Do I think it's a spooky human spirit haunting me? No, I don't think that's a thing. I don't think there are any human spirits on the prime material plane of existence making for spooky ghosts. I don't think that's a thing. There could be stuff. I just don't think it's disembodied human spirits that have decided to stick around or who've accidentally stuck around or whatever. I just don't believe it. I mean, I don't see the extraordinary evidence, just a lot of extraordinary claims and a lot of extraordinarily silly movies. So yeah, I mean, I've got a ghost story or two, but the one is really weird. It's actually a doppelganger story. It's a doppelganger / wraith story. Because look, I couldn't identify the thing, right? It looked like my friend, and then it looked like my friend again, or a second thing looked like my friend again, and then after that, it only looked like a black silhouette, and it only appeared in my peripheral vision. When I turned my head, nothing there, nothing dark colored, just in the peripheral vision. Very weird, very weird. But yeah, the whole story is on the YouTube channel. You can find it right in the playlists. Pokemon Trainer 5678 says, no, I drink non-organic coffee and I'm perfectly fine. Quit trying to push bullshit. Okay, whatever, dude. Does it make you jittery? No jitters of any kind. Okay, congratulations. But this worked on both Smash staff and me. And didn't my mom say the same thing? I think my mom just recently switched to organic coffee also, and now she doesn't get the jitters anymore. So, whatever, dude. You want to drink pesticide, herbicide, and fungicide, have fun. Sacher says, the ladies notice. Yeah, what, when you know how to cook? Yeah, the ladies notice when you know how to cook. The ladies notice when like you're hot, right? I guess I guess that's a lot to ask. Yeah, ladies notice when you know how to cook and when you're hot and when you're not an idiot. They like that too. Also, when you're not a liar. Women really like when you're not a liar, folks. Maybe I should make a channel that's completely like only about what women like. It's it's really not that complicated, but a lot of dummies really overcomplicate it, that's for sure. They think they got to do all kinds of insane things to get girls. It's nuts. It's a problem. A lot of dudes don't know what they're doing. Pokemon Trainer 5678 says, that entirely depends on your culture. In certain cultures, it's the oldest male, and women are served last, like in many Asian countries. Common sense also means using your brain and thinking for once. That is true. Yeah, in some places, the custom is to do it differently, but I don't care because I'm in this place, so I do it this way. If I was in Southeast Asia, I might not do it that way, but I would still prefer to do it that way because I'm a Westerner, and I think ladies first is an appropriate thing. I mean, look, if I let her order first, she might change my mind about what I want to order. Think about it. Like, women are much better than men at various things, and vice versa. Lean into those things and delegate responsibilities based on who wants to do the thing, who's good at doing the thing, who has natural talent to do the thing. Like, that's how you get the best results. Socher 1701 says it's a sign of dependability. Sadly, I burn water. Oh, come on. You can figure it out. It's easier than you think. Yeah, I mean, you might burn water. Oh, jeez. Hopefully nobody's getting too steamed about your cooking. No, you can figure it out. Just learn one thing, get good at the one thing, and then expand. It's You can absolutely do it. If you're burning stuff, turn the heat down. It's trial and error, invest a little bit of time. I know it's costly to do this, but invest a little bit of time because investing in yourself via skills, fitness, education, stuff like that, those are the best investments that you could possibly have. Those they can't be taken away from you. Um, like you get skills, you have the skills, especially if you don't let them get rusty, right? I don't know how many comments we've got, but I'm getting through a lot here. NW Tomfoolery says, yowzers. Who says that? I think we've got to bring back a bunch of old-timey terms. So, like, one of the ones that I like is getting schmaltzed. Like, for example, I hope the New England Patriots get schmaltzed in every game this year. Because I hate the New England Patriots. I don't like Bill Belichick or cheaters in sports. So yeah, old-timey terms, right? Language gets boring. And because language gets boring, you ought to say words that not everybody else is saying. Set trends. Don't follow fads. Chasing fads is what noobs do, and setting trends is what pros do. Understand the difference. You like wearing long socks when you're on the bike because they're more aero? Well, okay. I like wearing socks that expose my ankles on sunny days because it fades my tan lines. All right? I mean, geez, like just be original. Like that's like one of the most important things in life. Just be original, and the chips will fall where they may. Peanut says, knock, 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 knock. Who's there? People are mad because it takes me 30 minutes to answer a simple question. Sorry, it's because of the number of comments. Deal with it. Dragging things out so people have to wait longer. If you think that's my strategy, you are confused. Wow, you guys are really doing some psychoanalysis here. I'm sure you're going to really learn a lot about me with these conjectures. Nobody wants to see my flabs. Oh yeah, okay. I definitely skip some of your comments because when you say stupid stuff in my comments, I certainly don't respond to it. I ignore you. He's waiting. I'm waiting. He's close to a wall of comments. You got but rapid, didn't you? Okay. Geez, you know, sometimes illiteracy just kind of comes through, doesn't it? Sometimes you're like, wow, some of our viewers appear to be illiterate. Not mentioning any names. Oh, okay. DDDD says, organic is like global warming. You're toast. Okay. Whatever. I was only talking about the organic coffee, not other organic products. They're all different. Some products, there's no reason at all to buy organic ones. And other products, there's every reason in the world to buy organic ones. If you don't like the advice, don't take the advice. Not going to hurt my feelings in the slightest. You want to drink pesticide, herbicide, and fungicide? Have fun. Finishing off the coffee already, and it's only 4:30 a.m. here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. I woke up feeling fresh like $1,000,000. So I was like, I'm awake. I'm going to stay that way. We went to bed at like 8 o'clock last night. So what do you want? Oh, yeah, you're toast is an old-timey saying. That's good. What is that, from the late 90s or something? Yeah, you're toast. I like that. I also like to say, you're toast. Brown bread. Not coming back. Brown bread is a good one. Shout out to James Rolfe. Anybody know who James Rolfe is? James Rolfe, Cinemassacre. The angry video game nerd. Never heard of him? You should. One of the most classic YouTube channels ever on YouTube. Hence the term classic. Exactly. Oninator 9000 knew. James Rolfe. A legend. A national treasure. New tab says, I'm gay. Can I rent a room in your house? Definitely not. We barely have room for my clothes, much less my bikes. So yeah, I mean, James Rolfe is actually partially responsible for our channel existing. Because back in 2008, I started watching all of his videos because they're hilarious. And I love his analysis of old, shitty video games. It's so good. I mean, so funny. It's just hysterical. I mean, there are so many good quotes. Like, one of my favorite quotes of all time for AVGN is in reference to an Intellivision game. Now, if you remember Intellivision, you may need to get a colonoscopy, but Intellivision, it was like one of the competitors for the Atari 2600, a really, really old system. Like the first popular home console was the Atari 2600. And at the same time, Intellivision was a thing. made by Coleco, I think. But but I digress. There was a game for it called Tron Deadly Discs. All right, and the Intellivision was interesting because the controller, you like held it in your hand like this, and it had like a directional disc on it. It was a very bad controller. Whoever designed it was nuts. And it has a bunch of buttons. It looks like a phone on the top of it. And James is playing Tron Deadly Discs, and he's trying to like operate, just play the game, and he's like looking down at the controller, and then he dies, and he says one of the best quotes ever on YouTube: "Shit the fuck." Yeah, he makes up new curse words. So but that's what happens, man. You play shitty video games, you make up new swear words. And for that, we thank you. All right, well, as we're known to do on these live streams, time to go up on the PC and talk about what's really going on in space. Space, a frontier. These are the voyages of James T. Kirk. Ricky and Bubbles, the trailer park fish. And of Earth. So, join me as I talk about things like the sunspot number and the 10.7 centimeter radio flux and the likelihood of large solar flares and so on. Now, let's hope I can do this without spilling my coffee, because it's dark in here and I can't see Jack or Jill. There we go. That's a little better. All right. So we're about 1 hour from our departure time for our little nature outing. And I am now at SNN. Yes. Now I'm at SNN. And bear with me here for a minute while I convert. I've got to do a conversion here. So if you got space weather questions, now's the time to ask them. Nav wants to know about snow. Yeah, there's snow somewhere. I mean, I was looking at the ice this morning, and Antarctica certainly has a lot of it. The North Pole, quite a bit there too, really. It doesn't look like it's going to melt. This year, I mean, we've only got about 6 more weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks of melt season for the northern hemisphere, and then it's all over. It's we're only about 6 weeks out from the autumnal equinox. Or if you're viewing from the southern hemisphere, your vernal equinox. Shout out to our viewers from Munda. Yeah, we've got viewers from Munda. We've even got viewers from South America. There we go. That's a little better. So yeah, gonna check out some stuff here for your viewing pleasure. And we'll even show you some data here a little bit. So, what do we got? Sunspot number is the first thing I'll talk about. Sunspot number is currently at, look at that, almost 160. Oh, geez, it was all the way up to almost 200 there. But now it's, okay, I'm sorry, not 160, about 168 is the sunspot number. So that's above the average here, pulling the average up a little bit. And as far as the radio flux goes, radio flux is still at about 150, a little over 150 for the radio flux. Let me move this over a little bit and get my coffee in the correct location. Now that I've reduced the probability, I'm going to throw it all over the place. Yeah, organic coffee. I mean, people are very people are up in arms about when I say organic coffee, but when they try it, then they go, wow, this makes me not feel strangely like the non-organic crap I was drinking before. So yeah, a little uptick there in the sunspot number. That's always exciting. And I'm gonna show you a little video here. I'll show you a little video about what's going on. We're gonna bring up a magnetogram or something on those lines. Let's see here. We'll show yesterday through today. We'll show the intensity gram and the magnetogram here. Wow, that is a lot of sunspots. Very nice. Pardon my guerrilla style filming here. This is basically because of convenience. Yeah, that is a lot of sunspots. Oh, my neck is shattered. So yeah, we've got not just a lot of sunspots, but we've got some big ones too. So let's bring up the colorized magnetogram here real quick so I can take a look at deltas. And if you're wondering what deltas are, those are the places where we're most likely to see large flares. Basically, what that means is when you have a South Pole umbra and a North Pole umbra very close to it, especially to its north and south. It has to be to its north and south. When you have a very large degree of magnetic shear. So that represents extreme volatility on the closest star. Huge amounts of magnetic shear. So that's what you want. You want to see complex sunspots, unless you don't like flares. If you don't like flares, then you don't want to see that. But consumer tip, space weather is not deadly or scary. It's just awesome. All right, now let's check out the sector environment. Okay, Earth is still in a North Pole oriented magnetic sector. We do have a large coronal hole. I guess I'll show you that too. I'll tell you, these sunspots really don't look that volatile. However, the largest sunspot is setting over the western limb, so that does increase the likelihood of large flares a little bit. I'd say there's about a 40% chance of an X-class flare in the next 24 hours. The coronal hole that's been providing the high-speed stream that we're seeing right now, that is right there. That is a trans-equatorial coronal hole. It is of North Pole orientation, the entire thing. This is all North Pole, which pointing toward you, as opposed to pointing toward the surface, would be a South Pole oriented coronal hole. So that's what's going on in terms of the solar polar field migration. And hey, I might as well show you the 171, the house favorite. Here's our house favorite wavelength, the glorious 171 angstroms. That is August 8th through August 9th to date. A very scenic golden view. All right, so let's see. We're going to go over regular old everyday news stories. By the way, don't forget to check out smashomash.com/forum. There are recipes on there for all of you who want to learn how to cook. There's some recipes for you to try. Smashomash.com/forum. It's completely free. And there's even a new thread there. 50 is the new 30. Now, I'm not 50, but 50 is the new 30. And there will be ongoing content about that, as longevity will be something that will be popular on the channel because it's popular, period. There are a lot of old Americans, and a lot of them are missing out on various aspects of life because they're overlooking things that they could easily do and make massive improvements. And I get jacked up about massive improvements. That's what I'm all about. That's what makes me a paid instigator. Yeah, I'm a paid instigator. So if it looks like I instigate people on the internet, I'm a pro instigator. Like, what do you want me to say? When I'm on the bike, I'm a pro instigator. And in business, I'm a pro instigator. That's what I do. I help to create the environment in which people make massive improvements over their lives. And that's been going on for quite a while. So that is the kind of stuff that makes me excited enough to actually do it. Bear with me, folks. I will be right back. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm restarting the Twitch stream because, yeah, we're on Twitch as well. And it's usually just streaming the Goes 19 SUVI 304 angstroms image, as you see. Yeah. That's my third monitor. That's my third monitor. And if I'm telling you that the end is not near, hopefully I've struck the third rail and instigated you to be mad. All right, here's a question. I love it. A question from... I can't pronounce that. Lihunta Xeya. All right, that's a good name. And the comment is, can space weather / solar winds affect a good bike ride? Absolutely. Space weather and solar winds can absolutely affect a good bike ride. Would you like to know how also, or just if? Because I can definitely share with you how. How they affect a good bike ride. But yeah, space weather and solar winds definitely affect a good bike ride. In news stories, we've got Apple has its best week since July of 2020 after Tim Cook, otherwise known as Tim Crook, visits the White House. Now, I hate Apple. I refuse to use any of their products. They're overpriced junk. If you'd like to pay 3 times the money for 1/3 the computing power, then definitely go for Apple. Can't stand them. I've always said Apple was trash, and I was forced to use a Mac back in high school, and I hated it back then. Always been back. When PCs first came out, we used to call them IBM compatibles because you could either have an Apple or an IBM at first, and then when the other manufacturers started to enter the marketplace, I call them IBM compatibles. And of course, there were some other smaller brands around back then, like Texas Instruments made some home PCs. Casio probably made one. I can't really remember all of them, but never liked Apple. I don't like the way their menus are set up. Their Apple's OSs are Unix based, which is fine. The Android OS is Linux based, which is superior. Windows, I'm definitely not a fan of Microsoft either, but I prefer Microsoft over Apple. And they both of them build planned obsolescence into their products. So that's a problem. Oh, geez, that was one of the best pronunciations. All right, if that's your real name, let me actually try to pronounce it here. Lienta Jaya? Is it Lienta Jaya? Would that be it? I'm pretty good at this. I mean, it's part of my professional resume, pronouncing people's names. All right, what else do we have here? Gold futures trade off highs as White House to issue clarification on bullion tariffs. Oh yeah, tariffs on bullion. Oh, you want to know how it affects a bike ride? Well, it affects a bike ride in a few ways. It's mainly because you might see the aurora, right? So if you're riding in Iceland, If you're riding in Iceland sometime when it's dark out, right? If you see the aurora on a bike ride, that makes for one hell of a bike ride. Beyond that, not very much. I mean, look, when there's space weather going on, Earth's telluric currents, the currents that pass through Earth's crust as Earth's atmosphere acts as a capacitor and Earth tries to reach charge equilibrium between the space weather environment and the Earth environment. As that happens, yeah, there's electric current flowing through. I mean, there's always electric current flowing through a little bit. You can buy electromagnetic field detectors for your smartphone that can measure this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that affects things. And especially if you're in the polar regions, those telluric currents that are like coming out of the ground and going into the ground and so on. Those are affected by space weather. Um, so yeah, there's that stuff. But yeah, it's not the space weather and solar winds. They're not really going to like directly affect your ride. Um, I mean, you're on rubber tires, so you're largely insulated from those currents. They're going to kind of just go around your bike because they don't really have a path to make it through you as they do when you're just like standing on the ground barefoot, obviously, because your tires are an insulator. So that changes how things work. Um, but yeah, so that like it does have a little bit of an effect. It's going to change the electromagnetic field a little bit. So if you're measuring the electromagnetic field, it'll change out a little bit. And look, some people are legitimately sensitive to space weather. People that have certain types of conditions, some people do have a little bit of sensitivity to, but it's very unlikely that you're going to like feel anything because of space weather. Even if you're in the polar regions, even if you're in a place where you see massive auroras directly overhead, the kind that like radiate outward. That means that it's like directly above your head. If you see that, it's still very unlikely to really do anything to you. It's very minor. These fields are very, very weak fields. So, this like, so I have one of these made out of hematite. This is just volcanic rock. But yesterday I wore a hematite one, right? That magnet, the magnets that are those beads on that hematite bracelet, they're like something like billions of times more powerful than the fields that can be generated because of space weather. So these are very weak magnets. I mean, look, the sun's magnetic field is so weak from Earth that we can't even measure it from inside the magnetosphere. That's why we have to have spacecraft out at Lagrangian point one in between the Earth and sun outside of Earth's magnetosphere, because you can't be right next to a strong magnet and measure a weak magnet. That doesn't work because the one magnetic field covers up the other one. And yes, the magnetic fields, they do affect each other. So like the sun's magnetic field has a tiny, tiny effect on modulating Earth's magnetic field and sometimes even adding to Earth's magnetic field. But you can't measure it from inside because you're too close to the Earth, which is a much stronger magnet than the sun's magnetic field from Earth. So while the sun's magnetic field is big, it's also very weak. Your refrigerator magnet is like probably a quadrillion times stronger than the sun's magnetic field as measured at L1. So yeah, you often see the aurora where you live. That's fantastic. Where do you live? Great name, by the way. All right, so what else do we have for regular news stories here? I'll even cover some science news because I saw some interesting articles. I probably shared one on Twitter for what it was at this point. But yeah, let's see. Ukraine doesn't want to give up land. Who can blame them? I mean, land is definitely at a premium in Europe, unlike in the U.S. And this brings up an interesting like myth. Like, a lot of people seem to think that the planet is overpopulated. Have you heard this? Earth is overpopulated. Oh no, there's too many people. Really? Did you know that all the people on the whole planet could fit on the big island of Hawaii? All of them, shoulder to shoulder. Like, it is that Oh, off the coast of BC in Haida Gwaii. That sounds amazing. I got to look that up on a map. All right. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I've got to look that up. That sounds so cool. Off the coast of BC in Haida Gwaii. What is that? And what is your tribe? Yo, that is so freaking cool. Oh my gosh. I so want to go. Look at that place. You got some mountain bike trails there. I've heard some things. Oh man, that looks so nice. So let me ask you this. Are you concerned about the Cascadia Fault Zone? Probably too far away from you, right? Yo, that looks crazy. Can I go there or will somebody scalp me? Oh, you're right on the Cascadia Fault. Oh, geez. Or you're at least close to it. I guess I shouldn't comment. I don't know enough about fault lines. Look at that massive island. Oh my gosh. I'll bet the fishing is bonkers. Dude, that looks crazy. And it's mountainous? Oh my gosh. That's just one of those places that you don't know about until somebody tells you about it in the YouTube comments. So cool. Haida Gwaii. I can visit? All right. Thank you. If I do, I'm going to look you up. Make sure you friend me on Instagram, Facebook. You know what I mean? So I can reach out. I'm not going to forget your name. That's for sure. Is it Lilinta? Lilinta Jaya? Is that how it is? Lilinta Jaya? Yo. So like, what's the big town there? Like, where would I, if I'm there, from Lehigh Valley International Airport? I would want to go to the Waihanas National Park Reserve, right? Yo, that looks so crazy. A nature spot of nature spots. Wow. Here you go, YouTube audience. I'll show you a quick map. Off the coast of BC, that place. That looks bonkers. You've also got Nykooten Provincial Park. Jeez. Seems like a pretty sweet place to spend a week. All right, so what else do we have for news stories here? Oh, let's check out smoke. I know there's a lot of smoke going on. Let's see what's going on with the smoke. What is it? Firesmoke.ca? Yes! I remembered. Yeah, they show smoke forecasts. It's so good. Firesmoke.ca, folks. It's good times. Their map is so good. Wow! Canada is like pretty smoky. Jeez. All right, we can't have this live stream going much longer. We got to be out of here in about half an hour. So we got about another 10, 15 minutes, and we are closing this thing down. Nope. That's it. We're closing it down in like 10 minutes. Fly to Vancouver and then to Masset. Oh, geez. There's no airport there? I got to take a ferry? Oh, man. That just makes it all better. That means there's going to be less idiots there, right? That's the best thing about a crazy nature spot, right? The less idiots you have, the better it is. So the harder it is to get there, the better it is. That's one of the benefits of Everest, right? I mean, of course, you get a lot of idiots there just because it's the highest mountain, but it's still really costly and really hard to get there. The bike shop that I ride for, theveloshop.net, theveloshop.net. Don't forget to visit it for all your cycling needs. That's my USAC trade team. Their shop is on top of a mountain. Okay. There's like 4 or 5 ways up the mountain, but it's at the top of a mountain and it's pretty big. And there's no easy way to get there unless you're already on top of the mountain, right? What does that do? It makes our shop more elite because you get less noobs showing up. If you have a bike shop that's on Main Street in the city, you get a lot of noobs show up there. You get a lot of kids that come in and don't buy anything and try to steal stuff and just like are just in the way, asking stupid questions, trying to get stuff for free, trying to get their bike fixed for free, all of that sort of thing. But if you build your bike shop on top of the mountain, it makes your bike shop more elite. And our bike shop is quite elite because Becky, the owner, she was a world pro for about 16 seasons. She knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's talking about all too well. All right, what else do we have here? So yeah, a bunch of smoke here. It's mainly in the north central U.S. So places like the Dakotas, Minnesota, Nebraska, Wisconsin. Those are the places getting hammered by smoke right now. And central Canada, I mean, yo, look at that. That is bonkers. Central Canada getting kaplastered with smoke. And just so you know, folks, on the smokiest days here, I go out and ride. I do hard rides. I don't notice any performance change. Yes, Diddy lit all the fires. NT wants to know if Diddy did it. Yes, Diddy went up to north central Canada, and he put a bunch of fentanyl in a bunch of cans of gas, and then he poured fentanyl-laced gas all over the place, and he lit Canada on fire. It's Diddy and Ghislaine Maxwell and Gates and George Soros are all up there burning Canada. They're burning the place. That's why you can't go in the forest, because if you go in the forest in Nova Scotia, then you're going to see Bill Gates and George Soros in there. And no, I wasn't at the parties. I had nothing to do with it. My spies were at the parties. We send spies out because that's how we get the insider information and how I can make all these predictions that come true all the time. Like that's how it works. All right, I'm gonna check out some tech sites here real quick, and then I'll close this video out with a little bit of weather stuff, talking about the U.S. weather. Sorry, Canada, but no, I was definitely not at the parties. But yeah, P. Diddy, Soros, Bill Gates, and Ghislaine Maxwell are all up there burning Canada to the ground. They're probably going to buy the real estate so they can put in farms. And then, of course, they'll have enough money that they can, build bunkers for all their elite friends. All right, what do we have here? Oh, Google defends AI overviews, but independent studies and Cloudflare CEOs say site traffic is dropping. Why? Because AI is not intelligent. That's why. Large language models are just a bunch of computer code piled on top of a bunch of more computer code. It's people that are worried about the AI singularity and doomsday because AI. Fundamentally, there's no difference between programming code now and in the 1970s. There's no fundamental difference. You just have more code libraries piled on top of more code libraries, which look more like specialized. They look more sophisticated until they start trying to act like they have intelligence. As soon as you let them go off on their own, they go off to la la land. AI is fine as long as you hold its hand and make sure it doesn't screw up. But as soon as it puts in one piece of garbage information, garbage comes out. Garbage in, garbage out. That's the way it works, folks. Any programmer knows this. Garbage in, garbage out. This is why AI is not intelligent. Deal with it. Deal with it. AI singularity. Oh no! Artificial general intelligence is going to magically appear and I'm going to be spooked by it. Oh my God. Dear God, it's going to be like the Terminator films. I'm so spooked. Global nuclear war is going to happen. Cats and dogs living together. Ghosts haunting your house. And it's oh my God. All the different planes of existence are going to bleed together, folks. And you're going to be able to go on vacation to hell. Because AI, like, really? Not frightened of that either. It's like people are telling me, like, you better embrace AI or else it's going to kill you. Embrace AI or it's going to kill you. And it's going to take your job, by the way, and it's going to create a utopia. Wow, that's a lot of things. Those are a lot of ridiculous claims. All right. Let's see what's going on SciTech Daily. SciTech Daily, one of my favorite sites, scitechdaily.com. There was something I wanted to share with our YouTube viewers, and it is about the strange infinity galaxy, which stuns scientists. Yeah, the strange infinity galaxy that stuns scientists. Why? Oh, let me guess. It's older than the universe. You think? Let's see. Astronomers may have caught a supermassive black hole in the act of forming. Well, that's a thing. Geez. The intriguing object appears to have formed when two galaxies collided, creating a shape that closely resembles the infinity symbol. Oh, that's it? That's all you got? It looks like the infinity symbol because it's two galaxies in the process of colliding. That's all. It's literally just a visual description. All right. SciTechDaily.com. You can read the article yourself. I'm not even interested because it's like, all right, it may have caught the birth of a supermassive black hole. I hope it did. The mass is about 300 billion times the mass of, it's a million times the mass of the sun. So a million solar masses. So it's not a very big supermassive black hole. It's like bigger than an intermediately massive black hole. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I agree. And let's see. What was the article I shared on Twitter? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, there's an interesting one here. A star did like a novel event. It emitted a shock wave. And the shock wave, like when it was re-emitted by the gas cloud, the shock wave went out into a gas cloud. And then part of the shock wave came back and like affected the star again. So that was an interesting thing. And the title of that article is Newborn Star's Jet Ignites a Cosmic Blast, then Gets Slammed by its Shockwave. Like the star basically set itself off. You know, the shockwave came out, it hit some gas, some of the shockwave bounced back into the star, and then the star like did another activity. Yeah, so I mean all stars emit jets, okay? So like the sun, it's very predictable where its jets are going to be. If you look at coronal holes from the sun, that's where matter is blasting out of the sun. All right. So regardless of whether the magnetic field lines are north or south, there are particles that are orbiting those lines flying out into space at like 600, 800 kilometers a second. And so that's the sun's jets. Okay. When the sun is at solar minimum, the jets are just fixated at the poles because the coronal holes, they just stay there. But when the sun's at solar maximum, the solar polar fields are in the process of migrating around the sun. And, you know, wherever those are, there are jets coming out of it. Well, all stars have jets. Some stars are super stable and some stars are super unstable. But, you know, you can look at the sun's coronal holes and very easily tell where its jets are. Now, coronal mass ejections are very different because they happen as more chaotic event. But as far as the jets from the sun, they're very predictable. At solar minimum, they're just right at the poles hanging out there, which means there are very predictable jets just in opposite directions, almost like a galactic core. You know, you notice how galactic cores tend to have jets coming out of their poles? This is not a coincidence, folks. All right, and what do we have here? Yeah, the star is called WSB 52. It's about 440 light years away in the constellation of Ophiuchus. All right, one more. Let's head to ZH, zeroedge.com. and see what's going on there, as there'll be maybe some more interesting, more controversial news to talk about. Deportations. Yeah, so tariffs on gold bullion. That's what do you think about tariffs on gold bullion, folks? In fact, what do you think about tariffs in general? I won't even comment on them today. Just tell us in the comments what you think about tariffs. Tell us if you think tariffs are good. Tell us if you're economically illiterate or economically literate. Tell us if you think tariffs are bad. Like, tell us what you think. Tell us how you think tariffs, if they benefit the economy, if they're hazardous to the economy, if you got to wait to find out. Like, tell us what you think of tariffs. Come on, like, we want to know. And by the way, thanks to everybody who's pressed like. We've got 10 likes. Oh my God. I'm going to be able to retire on this soon. This many likes. Bitcoiners need to stop begging the government for permission to exercise their rights. I don't know what that means. I don't even care. I'm not a huge fan of crypto, if you're wondering. Crypto. It's a speculative asset, just like Dutch tulips. You know about Dutch tulips? Yeah, read about the Dutch tulips, because it's a very speculative asset. How much is it worth? Well, crypto is worth whatever somebody's willing to pay for it, like any other speculative asset. Yeah, I know a lot about economics. Don't even get me started on it. 3 years later, the American people deserve the truth about the Mar-a-Lago raid. Okay. I agree. I mean, transparency in all things, right? The best way to destroy evil is like this. See that? That's how you do it. That's how you destroy evil. It's super easy. I mean, sometimes you got to do this instead, but like, yeah, like casting light on evil, that's like the ultimate way. No Face flipped by, saw me, and instantly knew this guy knows crypto. Yeah, I know crypto, and I know that to tell you that it's not a very good investment, most of it. It's like it could crash and never come back at any moment. And by the way, the biggest liability to crypto is that, well, it's people say, oh, crypto, the reason crypto is worth a lot is because the blockchain. Except the blockchain is not an asset, it's a liability. So your bank account is 128-bit encrypted when you access it from a browser that is like a modern browser, right? But when you do a crypto transaction, it requires 9 computers all around the world to do that. So it creates a much longer paper trail, a digital paper trail. And what happens if the power goes out? How much is your Bitcoin worth during a power outage? Like, how much is your gold worth during a power outage? And your silver, how much is that worth? How much is stock worth? Or a bond? Like, what the hell? A stock, you own part of a company. It might pay dividends. It's literally a part of the company's capitalization. Crypto is, a lot of it is a complete scam. Like, there are so many meme coins out there. Who would buy that? And by the way, I own some crypto. Stellar Lumens. They're like 46 cents right now. They're at a 1-month high. I'm going to give you one piece of investment advice, folks. Just one. And I'll gladly take any, if you screw up your investments as a result of this advice, feel free to sue me over it, okay? Buy low and sell high. When you've got 130%, you know, if you put in $100 and it turns into $130, take out $30. Like, all fund managers do this. They take profits at about 30%. It's not because they're idiots. If the power goes out, food is the currency. That's right. Food, gas, all commodities, right? A pack of Bic lighters, and your crypto is worth absolutely nothing. The power goes out, your crypto is worthless. It's worth zero. The blockchain is a liability, not an asset. It creates a bigger paper trail. Like, what? You think you're going to get away with being a criminal because you use crypto? What? What? What are you talking about? Criminals have been caught because they use crypto. Oh, like the people's common sense has got to be at the low. I mean, like the stupidity and ignorance is just at a shocking level. But humans have more access to data than we've ever had in the history of mankind, and yet, are they any smarter? Certainly not. Like, what the hell? Like, the ratio between knowledge and accessible information has got to be like at the lowest it's ever been, because we keep getting more and more information and less people seem to know anything. What happened to common sense? Common sense expired in like 2012, and people were like, it's okay, I can just Google it. I can Google my common sense. Like, what is going on? It's bonkers. Bonkers. And economic illiteracy is like the top priority. Like, economic illiteracy is a serious problem. It's terrible. It's just terrible, folks. Just terrible. All right, so a little bit of weather stuff. Let's see what's going on here in the U.S. So we've got radar images, which I'll bring up here. And we've got heavy storms here moving across Minneapolis. Minneapolis, you're getting plastered, but it's going to be short-lived. It looks like a fast mover. So within about an hour, that's going to slide off to your northeast. But at the moment, Nebraska's got a nasty supercell there, and it is approaching Lincoln. Hey, Lincoln, there could be a tornado on the way. So there's that. It is, look at this cell here. That is what they call bad news. Look at that. That is a bonkers supercell right there. So watch out for damaging wind and hail, heavy lightning, and the possibility of things like funnel clouds. Can I just call you Jay Ya? I want to call you Jay Ya. Is that okay? Because the first name, I can't pronounce it. Could you type a pronunciation for your first name in the comments? That would be cool. Jay Ya says, I'm just trying to provide my own harvesting, hunting / fishing and wait for the tariff wars to settle. Buy low, sell high. No Face says that looked like herpes. All right. I don't doubt your experience. Yeah, Minneapolis, the storms you're getting there, they're not going to be like what's going on in southern Nebraska. Hastings might have just seen a tornado. I mean, that is bad stuff right there. Yeah. So that's about it. We're going to close this thing out. Yeah, I can't pronounce my mods' names. Like, what do you expect? That's a hard name to pronounce. But I am pretty good at pronouncing hard names, so I rise to the challenge. Lynn Haya. Lynn Haya. Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me pronounce your name and telling me about that really cool island on which you live. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, and thanks to all of our viewers. Thanks for tuning in. It's always a delight making breakfast and ranting about various subjects. If there are other subjects you'd like us to talk about in future live streams, then certainly put it in the comments. We will read all the comments throughout the day. And look for more content coming. So make sure you press subscribe if you haven't. Thanks to all of our new viewers. Thanks to everybody who has found the channel. It took us about 6 years to get to where we were. Yeah, we're in the process of turning another corner here. We're starting some new businesses and so on. So 2026 is going to be an interesting year for sure. So yeah, thanks everybody, and more content coming soon. We'll see you soon. Don't accept any wooden nickels. And until next time, May that solar wind be at your back.